Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
Most folks know the town of Plymouth is just a place they pass through while traveling Highway 64 on the way to the Outer Banks. But producer Clay Johnson says just hang a left and hang out for a little while, and you'll find yourself seduced by a town as historic and beautiful as the river that runs through it.
Life in Plymouth seems as slow as its meandering Roanoke River.
There is an interesting cemetery here.
But as Washington County Tourism Director Tom Harrison shows us, that gives you time to take in all of its fascinating stories.
Most of the buildings in Plymouth were destroyed in the Civil War.
The ones that are left are treasured pieces of Civil War history.
This next home I'm going to show you is the Osborne House.
In 1862, a lone Confederate soldier fired on advancing Union troops from this window in the Osborne House. You can still see the bullet holes left by Union troops.
He was eventually killed, and for many years bloodstains were still in the wood floors up there.
This house belonged to Charles Latham. He had 3 sons who fought in the Civil War.
During the Battle of Plymouth, it was used as a hospital.
Plymouth also has a number of beautiful historic churches. But the town's centerpiece is its historic riverfront downtown.
Plymouth is unique in that it's got 3 waterfront museums in 3 blocks.
2 of the museums celebrate Plymouth's history.
We exude history here in Plymouth.
The Port of Plymouth History Museum is an example.
Its primary focus and collections are based on the Civil War history here that is some of the most important in the country, and certainly some of the most important in the state of North Carolina.
Many of the museum's artifacts are from the Battle of Plymouth, the second largest battle in North Carolina during the Civil War.
This particular flag flew through the battle, and those holes you see in it were shot in there during the battle.
The museum site also includes a replica of the CSS Albemarle, which debuted in the Battle of Plymouth and became the most successful ironclad of the war.
And it succeeded in sinking the Union gunboat, the USS Southfield, chased the Navy away, and was the difference in the capture of Plymouth.
At the other end of Plymouth's waterfront is the Roanoke River Lighthouse and the adjacent Maritime Museum. The museum celebrates Plymouth's dependence on the river for commercial fishing, recreational boating, and to transport forest products.
Not many people realize how important these waterways were to us, and it's something just to look at. This was part of our culture here for a long, long time.
There's a collection of fishing gear, old photos, and old boats. It includes this children's wooden boat powered by a lawnmower engine. Across the street on the river, you'll find a replica of a lighthouse that used to stand at the mouth of the Albemarle River, where it meets the Albemarle Sound. It was a busy area for commercial shipping traffic in the 1800s.
I'm not talking about small boats. We're talking about large 300-foot schooners and stuff that would come up and haul goods around the world.
In between the History and Maritime Museums, in the center of downtown, you'll find a wildlife museum.
This is the Cape Buffalo. It's a cow with an attitude.
It's Tom Harrison's private collection of animals from hunting trips he's taken to places like Alaska and Africa. It includes an interactive touchboard where you can feel the animal's fur and hide and discover which animal you're touching.
It's small, but there's a lot here to see. It's interesting. Takes you out of your realm of eastern North Carolina when you come here. You don't expect it.
Plymouth's downtown includes interesting shops and eateries, including a wine shop and an ice cream parlor.
In between visiting museums and shopping, you can get a bite to eat, enjoy some ice cream, and sit on the waterfront and kind of let your cares drift away with the river.
As it has always been, the river is still Plymouth's biggest draw.
There's over 50 miles of shoreline within 5 miles of Plymouth, and there's an endless supply of recreational opportunities.
Its location on U.S. Highway 64 makes Plymouth an easy place to get to, or in some cases, get past.
Over 1 million cars a year go through Plymouth on the way to the beach, on their way to sand, sunburn, and traffic.
But if those beachgoers would just hang a left off of Highway 64 onto one of these side streets and drive just a few short blocks down to Plymouth's waterfront, they'd find out what they're missing.
When visitors come here, we'd like for them to experience the history, the heritage, the friendly people of a small coastal town in North Carolina.
To plan your visit to Plymouth, go to visitplymouthnc.com.
Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.